Yo, what up, YouTube? I'm in the ocean. I'm in the ocean now. We're talking about Steven Crowder because he's just lied on the internet big time. And I'm supposed to pretend it didn't happen now. Normally, I wouldn't come out with such abrasive statements. He lied. He's telling an untruth. He's being facetious with his words and diction. I shouldn't be talking about Steven Crowder anymore because he did the unforgivable sin. He abuses his wife. Or is it because you only got to see what was on camera and not the more influential abuse that he was threatening to do on camera? We're going to divorce him from what happened, think he laid low, and shit is sweet. No. And the reason why we're not going to do that is because he's still repalling around and retweeting and discussing things with child porn sharer Dom Luger. So, like, you can't just escape the nonsense. So we have to face it head on. Apply directly to the forehead, head on. Apply directly to the forehead, head on. Apply directly to the... Steven Crowder is claiming to have released the Nashville shooter manifesto. There's absolutely nothing in it about gender identity, so now they're saying it was an anti-white attack, despite the fact that the shooter was white and the most frequent insult used is the F slur. Lance thinks that threatening to kill crackers is an indicative of an anti-white terror attack. I'm going to re-reference a scene. I'm going to re-reference a video that I've already done because there's no point in me retreading this world again. But, ladies and gentlemen, if your worst offense towards white people is the word cracker, I want you to think about forming a sentence using that vernacular and expecting it to come off as harsh as the N-word, expecting it to come off as hard as other slurs that we've known throughout time have come with power and education and a reason for why the word developed. Just want you to think for your second self and just picture, just for a second, how much of that really plays into what people say. I know how often this conversation is had. I'm trying to tell you desperately that if you are watching this right now, this thought train, this line of thought can end. Now, me asking you to end one of your quote unquote paradigms requires a lot of self-introspection. And we're talking about Steven Crowder, the master of someone who should shut the fuck up. But I understand that I take a fun approach to it, and you're looking for the jokes and the non-podcast voice I'm giving you right now. But I'm trying to tell you things a little bit different with this one. Because I'm watching in real time people be able to fabricate things that then other people will say out loud. I need you to understand that I want you to picture a world where people get their information through what we are about to witness as misinformation campaigns and then validate those misinformation campaigns. We see the same people retweet the story the moment it breaks because they communicate with each other. We're going to do this at this time. That's their freedom of speech. That's their right. But when they lie and you run to their defense at any point, you justify them lying over and over again. And it needs to stop now. And I'm not doing a metaphorical debate, bro, that I'm saying gone. Like, we're not at the point anymore where they are arguing things. They are ironic. Here's the biggest ironic coinky-dink pun I could use. They are manifesting. They are manifesting these things. out of thin air. You hate the corporate media. You hate the government. You hate the ideological liberal left. You hate the terms. You hate the things. And I'm telling you, imagine I could validate that for you and say, you should hate those things. As a leftist, I hate all the gender terms. I hate all the fluidity. I hate the idea of men being women and women being men. I could give you all of that just to then tell you, if you hate all of that, who are the people that you listen to that talk about it the most? Think about that. Think about that. Because what's left after the end of all of that, they got to make stuff up to make you hate what? It's got to be somebody else, because they're always talking about hating somebody else. Who are the other people? After you're done with your so-called woke left, who's left? For what? Why? You are listening to people, and I know I've been dodging it. So I'm prefacing this video essay, this theory, and paradigm shifting. I'm telling you, we are not at the point anymore where I want to honor these conversations. I need a mechanism now that shuts them down completely. Not because you don't like free speech. It's because now I'm noticing that side has jack shit to do but antagonize. And that should be the point where people say, up, pulling your sponsors, pulling your money. Let's look at your Twitter followers. Let's look at let's do an investigation. Are the interactions you're having real? Are you posting real things? Can we verify when you, as a supposed commentator, comedian, come out with something big? Can we you're leading me to believe that at some point or another, you have created an ecosystem where you can slip in the most vile things that aren't real and then blanket it all up in, I got one wrong. And at that point, you should be forced to defend yourself. Imagine side reverse, but with black. There would be having meltdown, yet when it is white people, they are silent about it. Communist equals groomer. Join September 2023. When I say communist should be treated as groomer. Retweeting, they live among us and to make our lives visible. These ideas don't come from the fringes of the internet, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk. Don't worry. I'm just saying, bro, pay attention to the responses. See if it's not just, come on, keep going. Click a profile or two. So let's talk about it. According to Steven Crowder, Nashville school covenant shooter Audrey Hale's Death Day manifesto targeted crackers with white privileges. Want to kill, blah, 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 ready to. First of all, this shit look fake as hell. Today is the day. The day has finally come. I can't believe it's here. Don't know how I was able to get this far, but here I am. I'm a little nervous, but excited too. Been excited for the past 2 weeks. Okay, dog, this is definitely not real. This is, whoa, wait. I didn't even get to going to private fancy schools with those fancy khakis and sports backpacks with their daddy's Mustangs and convertibles. Yeah, this is about a normal teenager thing. And then they had a whole schedule for it. Okay, the full report. Hey, for those of you on YouTube right now wondering why I won't click the full report, it's because I looked through the full report order earlier, so you can verify this with me. I'm just going to click the beginning of it. It does nothing but repeat the information in the photos and then link it to some random other shit. That's it. Mug Club Undercover has corroborated the pages from the manifesto as authentic. If you have information related to the story, please contact us at Okay, so he's verified his own scoop. And he's reading the manifesto line by line, blah, 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 whatever. Elon Musk retweets this and says, clearly mentally ill, but also clearly brainwashed into being a mass murderer by the system. Weird reply. Gunther Eagleman, the result of constant race baiting from the mainstream media and in our schools and colleges. Replying to Ian Miles Chong saying, programmed, indoctrinated by CRT, DEI, anti-white decolonialism happening all over now, most notably in South Africa, which that's excluding so much fucking information. But propaganda's gonna propaganda. But liberals want to ignore it and pretend it isn't an issue. Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, it's a Resident Evil logo. Hold on. You've noticed this entire video, I've taken a different approach of how I'm communicating with you, right? Because I know motherfuckers is going to react to this. I know people going to take my clips out of context, take this video out of context and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's bullshitting. He's clearly... And you're going to, and I know, oh, so what about the fake dossier? What happened to the Trump indictments? What happened to this? You believe this, knowing that random niggas don't just show up. Who would leak the, who, what, when, where, why? Let's try. Who would leak the pages specifically? Who? Right, my propaganda is right. Their propaganda is wrong. I already know where this is going. I know where this is going. I know, because y'all just gonna flip the argument. You can't do this anymore. You can't come up with shit out of nothing. And if you thought this video was over, we haven't even come close to it, because people have asked that question before. And I want you to carry this theme of what I've been talking to you about throughout this entire video in your head. If you listen to them on the one thing sandwiched in between everything else that feels like a lie, but there's one truth that they have, what if I flipped it around and said there's one truth inside of a ton of lies? Would you still believe the truth? Candace Owens is doing this shit now, but you don't believe. Wrong video. We'll get into that in another one. Let's continue. Exhibit B. Update. Per Nashville, WSMV4 Nashville, Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell has launched an investigation into our release of the Nashville Manifesto. So he is confirming they are real. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in the video, if you have a conscience, you've just realized that he's told you out loud that they are fake. If you have a conscience, if you are above a 4th grade reading level, you know what an inference is, a leading question. It says the thing out loud that you don't want to say out loud. You know this. You passed English class, at least I hope, or at least you said enough slurs on Xbox that you probably know how to communicate. So at this point now, it brings me back to the whole other point I had made a long time ago in another video. It's very funny that these people think that they are the smartest in the universe, but yet get tripped up by their own egos. Now, I've immortalized this in the video, and if he decided to change the tweet or say something else, but it's not going to make a difference because everybody's sharing it, it's going to get lost in the... They couldn't figure out who leaked the Roe v. Wade decision, but you can bet your ass they'll find out who leaked the Nashville Manifesto as one of the comments on that page. Absolutely. And now they're tripping over themselves to create fake context so they can avoid calling this an anti-white hate crime. Stephen, you just exposed blatant systemic anti-white racism in the DOJ and mainstream media. He should be launching an investigation as to why the truth was withheld from the public and thanking Steven Crowder. You can say anything you want. As long as people keep saying it, it becomes real. You're playing a song, ladies and gentlemen. Now you might say, the paradigm. People bigger than you have already said this, like Ludwig and Hassan Biker and FD Signifier and Philip DeFranco and Kyle Kulinski and Destiny. Here's the fun part. All of them are so big, they have no choice but to, at some point within, engage within these points, and they can't get as in-depth into it as I can because they have a responsibility to an audience. Well, I don't give a fuck. We got to take him down now. We got to take him down now. We got to take it down now. We got to take him down now. As my chat said, nowadays, investigation and indictments are phrased as confirmation of truth or guilt. Now we don't know nothing. Now we don't know nothing. Now we don't know nothing. But you thought it was over. No, see, what happens is when you have a network of people who have all slowly started to fall from their credibility, I think the louder with Crowder being in prose over the pages is a very questionable tactic for spreading his name. Oh, don't worry. That comes at the end of this because one other person did something like that. And you already know that is the last page of this. If you know me, you know I gave you the spice at the beginning of the video. So now you got to stay for the end because you're going to want to see who the hell it is. They hid the trans terrorist manifesto from you for months. Cokehead Donald Trump Jr. said. It wasn't good for the narrative, Cokehead Donald Trump Jr. said. It was yet another example of radical violence coming from the trans movement, and therefore they had to hide it while simultaneously going after good, God-fearing patriots with reckless abandon. The Cokehead Donald Trump Jr. said. Hey. A pattern. We're bringing back up the same picture, tagging at I meme 0. But keep going. Matt Walsh, everybody's favorite guy, Matt Walsh. The government never had any right to keep the trans shooters manifesto a secret. What gives them the authority to make that kind of determination? When children are massacred, the community has the right to know exactly what happened and why. From the same people who literally rose to prominence like Alex Jones from the Sandy Hook shooting. I'm telling you right now, they are massacring children in Gaza and the West Bank. They might as well have just bombed over everything that wasn't their own territory, which effectively they will do. And then they will talk about doing a final sweep. And it's going to sound a lot like the final solution, in which they'll go in on the ground and through air and just wipe everything off again. Because why should we keep that infrastructure up? There's nobody there anymore. When that ends up happening, when Israel declares that, when Netanyahu declares that, please come back to this video and let me know I was right. Oh, Paradigm, you don't know anything about it. Guarantee you. Guarantee you. Son, if you're going to commit a genocide, you do not want anyone to survive it. You do not want anyone to survive it. And since the U.S. won't do its thing again, but that's beside the point. We're talking about Matt Walsh of all people. Let's not give him the credence to talk in the middle of this segment here. Facts. Why was Steven Crowder the person to release it? Of all human beings, I would understand if Henry Kissinger opened his mouth and said, "I leaked it." I would understand if what's the bald dude's name? That not Jeff Sessions, the bald dude that did not Anthony Blinken. He was Justice or something. He was DOJ or something. Anyway, there was a guy that was bald, and I don't care. Why wasn't it one of them? Why wasn't it a random police officer? Why would somebody, the guy from the ADL? Yes, specifically, yes. Yes, it's crazy that we all kind of gathered to get the meeting. See, my chat, they smart. My community, you should be a part of it. You should come and watch me at twitch.tv/the_paradigm_shift. Please let Twitch know to give me back my username. I hate the underscores. Anyway. Zionist Pinocchio loses his hair every time he lies. Exactly. Oh my God. Mr. ZP. Yeah. Anyway, facts. All he said was facts. How can you hate Steven Crowder for just replying to something with facts? He is acting like he's an authority. If the government said no, let's pretend in your world the government said no. Why are you the one? Why are you? And I repeat this one more time. Why are you the one to release this? You have to answer as to how you became an authority from that. You abuser of women. You abuse your wife. You have a divorce because of what we saw. People were literally shitty. You are not him. You are not him. You are not him. You are not him. But now let's even explode it. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, I'm going to be annoying with my transitions. Exhibit C. What happens when the real world becomes your plaything?
Breaking news this noon hour. A conservative talk show host claims he's released documents related to the Covenant School shooting here in Nashville. We know Steven Crowder is the host of Louder with Crowder. He released 3 photos of writings in notebooks. Crowder claims they're actual images of the shooter's writings. Metro Police say they are aware of the photos. They're receiving calls about them. We talked with police. Right now, they are not confirming the legitimacy of those photos. Now, our chief investigative reporter, always glad to have Jeremy Finley on with us. You've actually been reaching out to people throughout the city all morning. So what have you learned? What are you hearing right now?
So what all of us are doing is we're watching our phones because Metro Police, when they authenticate information, they put it out on Twitter, what used to be known as Twitter. Right. And I literally just checked moments ago. There is nothing new about this because there is so much at stake here, right? We've talked so much about the fact that there have been people that have sued to get these writings, and Metro Police has not released those writings, citing those lawsuits, not wanting to release that. We know that they have said, the Chief Drake himself has said, that so much of it doesn't make any sense. And so we have to be absolutely careful with what we are reporting is absolutely authentic. But we do know that a short while ago, I was able to reach out to the attorney who was representing the family of the parents of the school shooter. He writes, "I represent Mr. Ron and Mrs. Norma Hale. We have never seen the manifesto at any time. We're not in a position to authenticate these pieces of paper. We have absolutely not released anything, but we certainly did not release this. It's inappropriate for me to make any further comment about it." So we have been reaching out to all of our sources throughout law enforcement. I've reached out to the mayor's office. The mayor's office punted to the police department. So at this point, you know, there's so much at stake here. If police comes out and they do confirm this, then they are essentially releasing this information that is in this manifesto. But we are not reporting that information yet because it isn't authenticated.
Exactly.
So we've got a lot more confirmation that we need to do.
And of course, we've been hearing from the victims' parents saying they absolutely do not want this to be released.
That's right.
We're going to continue to follow this, stay on top of it, and bring you the.
So let me address the questions before we move forward. You are going to ask the question of why would the parents not want it to be released? I'm going to tell you, in this type of world, in this type of climate, releasing that leads to crazy showing up at your door. If you think I'm joking, think about Sniper Wolf. Sniper Wolf legitimately was like a robber baron inside of YouTube that was promoted to steal money, views, attention, and fame away from all of those people. One person on the internet, just one human being, decided to G-check. Hold up, what are you doing? Not to say Sniper Wolf wouldn't have done something, but like, I want you to think about the average, like, quote unquote, crazed ex. Or, matter of fact, let's take it in a place that you understand. Since you motherfuckers like to talk about gang violence so much, you lick back. Imagine if Sniper Wolf was off meds or like had a severe bipolar, just something. What if she had multiple personality disorder? I'm like, what then? What if her friend was like, yo, you should shoot his house up? He talking mad shit. Do it how we do, or whatever. I don't know where she grew up. I don't know who's around her. She go, it would have been a way different story the next morning, right? Oh, he was live streaming when it happened. It could have been a way different story. We don't know if she had a weapon in there. She didn't say anything. We just all assumed it because those are YouTubers. But it's normal for regular everyday people to carry a deuce somewhere in the body. Under the waistband. Gotta have some protection while you lacking. You don't think people with this much money and lawyers and like, why you lacking? That's why I posted it on Snapchat to let you know. And that's why I posted it on Instagram to let you know. You're not sleeping comfortably. I'm coming to make one more video about me. Make one more video about me. Say I won't slide back. Say I won't drift and slide back. Oh, that's why they gotta move now. Yeah. Location compromised. Every single incident that we have watched in this country since, and I'm gonna go all the way back to Breonna Taylor. I'm going to go all the way back there for a quick second. I'm just going to go back there. I'm just going to go back there. Lies, deceit, dirty looks. Why did the black people do? Why did the black people? Breonna Taylor deserved it. They deserved it. He shouldn't have shot at the police. He could have hurt them. All these defenses frame a framework for how you think about the next thing. People who capitalize on it don't allow a person who is neutral, who finds out about an event, to move into their comfort zone emotionally, because you need to have facts and logic. So they splinter as they start to split. So instead of a natural, and I hate to do it this way, but pretend a human, instead of a natural human splitting in two, they split into splinters as they split. So there is no universal thought. There is only the truth and everyone else's view of it. None of us were there. We'll never know. All we have to go on is the information given to us by the people involved and the law enforcement that was involved. And since they're both equal, because they would never lie except when they do when I don't like it. So you start understanding more and more that the engine turns and turns and turns, but it can't turn on its own. It has to have someone to crank that wheel. And to be honest, nobody wants to crank that wheel. Because even being seen near that machine means that you gave in to the, and yes, I'm making a Final Fantasy X reference here, shut up. Nobody wants to use the forbidden machina. But I can't win at Blitzball. How did they do it in the water? Anyway. What are these people like Steven Crowder are the ones turning the wheel? Counterpoint, like I said before, but you guys didn't know that because I did this on Twitch and not in the YouTube video. I said, why is it that when people say you're wrong about something, they lighten it up? well, it's not that bad, or this is worse. They never double down on what you're saying. Oh, you think that's bad? It's actually worse. Why is that? Let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, Exhibit D. Multiple sources have told me that the selective leak of 3 pages of the Covenant school shooting manifesto is extremely misleading. People who have read the whole thing say there's something in there for everybody. Another says she hated everybody. This is why journalism organizations have argued for the release of the shooter's writing so the conversation can be based on facts, not someone's spin. The quartering, how do you sleep at night? Wow, something in there for everyone, huh? Weird then how the shooter literally targeted Catholic school, not a place that has everyone. It's almost as if transgender extremist Audrey Hale was targeting... Who are you going to believe, the shooter's own words or what the liberal media says about those words? Literally creating the narrative as they speak. Fine, release the whole damn thing then. And see how we... So all they needed to do to get them to release that was release a fake one, claim it was real, which forces their hand because we live in a world where people are this fucking dumb. So by engaging with this, you have created an ecosystem around shit that doesn't exist, which makes people have to create things that do exist. So in essence, you are a fascist. My resistance to your points are you fabricate shit and I have to prove it's not real. I should never have to prove the non-existence of fairies. I should never have to prove the non-existence of dragons, of wizards. And now I am playing a game where everyone's lives are at stake because we don't know how people are ever going to react to trans people now that Steven Crowder has quote unquote released the trans shooter, but they'll spin narratives and run pieces on it and talk about, well, I'm just thinking, nothing's real, nothing's confirmed. But if it is real, then we know what the blah, blah, blah. And it goes. And so it doesn't matter if they release it. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they do. You are already in the game and you can't pull yourself out. So I am offering a decision to you. Breaking. Hale family attorney David Rabin has just released the following statement on the Nashville manifesto. We're not in a position to authenticate these pieces of paper. We're not in a position to authenticate these pieces of paper, but read the actual statement. I represent Mr. Ron and Mrs. Norma Hale. We have never seen manifesto at any time. We're not in a position to authenticate these pieces of paper. We have absolutely not released anything, but we certainly did not release this. It's inappropriate for me to make any further comment about it. They raised it. I know you saw that. They know her handwriting. They just said that's not her handwriting. It's hers, authenticated now, MIO. Working on a revolutionary new crypto project, but nobody's clicking the profiles. They're just reading the words. Translation, it's authentic. Gays for Trump, this really weird profile that's clearly run by some weirdo, which we know. Clearly. Gays for Trump. I thought it was the school, parents, and family that didn't want the manifesto release. If they'd never seen it, why would they want it to be kept from the public? You're making up arguments. You're making up arguments. You're making up arguments. You're justifying fake things for the sake of it being fake in your worldview for the fake to be real. You have officially 1984 people who never wanted to be 1984. But you know it's not real. But the people who don't know how you engage in shit and just hear shit on the news, heard a commentator has just released the Nashville shooting. So you go to Google that shit. You look it up. You see the pages for themselves. You don't know if they're authenticated or not. You just hate what it says on the pages. You just hate what it says on the pages. You can turn the entire world inside out. And you don't even have to, you don't need to make people think the election was, you don't need to prove the election was stolen. All you need to do is just sprinkle a little doubt in there. Inception was the one idea that changed the whole framework to let you know if this world was real or not. That totem, that core concept is about to explode out. You are going to witness the birth of what the inside of these monsters looks like. But if that wasn't enough of a case to deplatform Steven Crowder, may I present my final exhibit? Dom Luker, CP sharer and guy who had to be almost name dropped, if not name dropped during a Senate committee hearing. Steven Crowder shut all of us up with releasing the Nashville Shooters Manifesto. Good job, bro. I'm not too ashamed to admit it. Truth is truth. The term white privilege did not exist before Barack Obama became president. Hey, thanks for that comment, Roast Beef Curtains. People are more upset with Steven Crowder releasing the manifesto than they are with the FBI for not releasing it. I'm sorry, dog, but when you got CP Man arguing for you, yo, he's actually a cool dude. Sounds like you got a problem on your hands. Ladies and gentlemen, those are all of my exhibits. My ending goal, get this man the fuck off the internet. Get him off the internet. It's over. It's clapped. It's done. He's done. It's cooked. He's cooked. He's cooked. You can't. Motherfuckers like him used to get punched back in the hood. We used to stomp on motherfuckers like you to get shit off in the hood. It's over. It's over. He's just posting fake shit. Bunch of blue checks retweet it. Bunch of random normal people who exist in the actual world that are rich and famous will retweet it. Somebody like Nick Merck sees it, accidentally says it out loud. Told you they wanted to hate white people, bro. 50,000 gamers believe it, and it's game fucking over. You are a ghoul, Mr. Crowder, and I would like to make the case that I don't think you should be allowed to speak on the internet anymore. You've lost your social good, you've lost your posture, you've lost your place in this universe. Goodbye and good night.